Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vedyadravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So where are we in our text?
Halfway through a chapter. We're halfway through. Hold on to I am.
That'll do.
So,
I have Maharaj says it is a stage on which a world drama.
Yeah. So the questioner asked, how do you view it? Or how do you view the universe? Maharaj, it is a stage on which a world drama is being played. The quality of the performance is all that matters. Not what the actors say and do, but how they say and do it. Questioner, I do not like this Leela play idea. I would rather compare the world to a workyard in which we are the builders. Maharaj, you take it too seriously. What is wrong with play? You have a purpose only as so long as you are not complete, Purn. Until then, completeness, perfection is the purpose. But when you are complete in yourself, fully integrated within and without, then you enjoy the universe. You do not labor at it. To the disintegrated, you may seem to be working hard, but that is their illusion. Sportsmen seem to make tremendous efforts, yet their sole motive is to play and display. Questioner, do you mean to say that God is just having fun, that he is engaged in purposeless action? Maharaj, God is not only true and good, he is also beautiful. Satyam Shivam Sundaram. He creates beauty for the joy of it. Questioner, well, then beauty is his purpose. Maharaj, why do you introduce purpose? Purpose implies movement, change, a sense of imperfection. God does not aim at beauty. Whatever he does is beautiful. Would you say that a flower is trying...
Let me stop there just a moment. So who's determining whether it's beautiful? Is it God? No. It's your mind and my mind. Yeah. You see. So when we deeply apprehend, even to some degree, a little bit of reality, our response is, oh, that's beautiful. What is beauty? That's an amazing question. When I hear a beautiful piece of music and it stops my mind, or I see a fantastic painting, it stops my mind, or you see a dancer who just incredible. What is it? It's a very interesting question. Something in us responds. We call it, oh, that's beautiful. I love it. And what we're actually seeing is a taste of the divine. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Any thoughts on this? But let me see if I can give another example. So you have some nephews and nieces, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm having a senior moment on their names.
Rishi and
Rishi, yes. Is Rishi adorable?
Yes.
Does he know he's adorable? Does he
Mm-mm.
purposefully adorate?
No.
He just is.
Mhm.
But we're hardwired to see babies and we go, love you. Big heads, big eyes, little pouty mouths, lots of curly hair. So also, God is adorable. But it's my mind, your mind, that sees it that way. That's not bad. It's just it's how we respond to the infinite. Any thoughts? Going on.
God does not aim at beauty. Whatever he does is beautiful. Would you say that a flower is trying to be beautiful? It is beautiful by its very nature. Similarly, God is perfection itself, not an effort at perfection. Questioner. The purpose fulfills itself in beauty. Maharaj. What is beautiful? Whatever is perceived blissfully is beautiful. Bliss is the essence of beauty.
Yes.
Questioner. You speak of Satchit Ananda. That I am is obvious. That I know is obvious. That I am happy is not at all obvious. Where has my happiness gone? Maharaj, be fully aware of your own being, and you will be in bliss consciously. Because you take your mind off yourself and make it dwell on what you are not, you lose your sense of well-being, of being well. Questioner, there are two paths before us.
Before we leave that, this confuses people a lot. We have these three great words to describe the infinite. They point, remember, they don't define. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat, I am. Chit, I shine as the light of awareness. But here the questioner says, Ananda, bliss, absolute. But I'm not blissful all the time. So therefore, what Ananda means is not what I think it means. I want Ananda to mean my mind is happy all the time. But that's not my direct experience. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
So where I choose to start with, let's define Ananda as no sorrow reaches there. Physical pain and pleasure gets to my body, suffering and happiness get to my mind, honor and dishonor get to my intellect, but I am the still point. Nothing touches me. And that's true all the time. So that's a good place to start. But why do we call it Ananda? And it has to do with what makes the mind happy. When the mind is free from its extroversion, all suffering can be reduced to vacha, wanting. That's the vikshepa shakti. That's the extroversion of the mind. What does it feel like to want something you don't have? It sucks. There is no other suffering. When that vancha, that kama, that spriha is gone, the mind comes home. Oh, yeah. And you don't have to be a great yogi. Just go to sleep. Where do your problems go in deep sleep? Gone. What does that prove to us? The extroverted mind is absolutely essential for misery. It is not essential for bliss. But it's not unconsciousness. That's vasanananda, the bliss of deep sleep. Actually, it's brahmananda. It's myself nature. So when the mind ceases its struggle, ceases its vancha, and comes home, free from the longing, just like the waves coming down into the ocean itself. Then the mind becomes blissful, full of bliss. Then I have Atma Brahmana, reveling in the bliss of the self. Then I have Brahmananda Rasa Swad. Swad, I taste. Rasa, the juice of the bliss of Brahman. It is the mind that becomes blissful. And language falls short because when the mind is absorbed in the self, we almost can't even call it a mind anymore. The mind can be seen to be prakasha, the light of pure awareness, plus vimarsha, deliberation of some sort. Remove the vimarsha, stop the mind, and all that's left is the prakash, the light of pure awareness. Is that still a mind? Language falls short. It's myself. Ego strategy is always, I'm unhappy because I'm not getting what I want. Truth is, I'm unhappy because I'm stuck wanting. We hear this truth over and over and over again. Such is the power of Maya. Forgot. I want a widget. I want a bigger widget. I don't like the widget I have. Any thoughts on this? The wanting itself is the problem. All right, going on.
Questioner. There are two paths before us, the path of effort, yogmarg, and the path of ease, bhogmarg.
What was
Both-
that word again?
Bhog,
Bogmark.
bhogmarg.
Yeah.
Both,
Pleasure. Boga.
both lead to the same goal, liberation. Maharaj,
I disagree.
why do you call bhoga a path? How can ease bring you perfection? Questioner. The perfect renouncer, yogi, will find reality. The perfect enjoyer, bhogi, will come to it. Maharaj. How can it be? Aren't they contradictory? Questioner. The extremes meet. To be a perfect bhogi is more difficult than to be a perfect yogi. I am a humble man and cannot venture judgments of value. Both the yogi and the bhogi, after all, are concerned with the search for happiness. The yogi wants the permanent, the bhogi is satisfied with the intermittent.
Now,
Often,
let me stop you there. I would not call Bhogi a path to the infinite. But there are paths like the Tantrikas, which invite us to go into the sensations of the world. Listen carefully. Both paths lead to Tyaga, the abandonment of the world. The clearest example of Tantra that we have in our ordinary world is addiction and alcoholism. So you take some 22-year-old, someone tells them to do a line of crystal meth, and they do it and they go, wow, this is incredible. And what does the mind immediately want to do? Golly, I want to do that again. And in the beginning, you may do it once every 2 or 3 months. But then the vancha sets in. And you do it once a month. You have your party weekend and you take off from work on Friday and Monday. And then you become a weekend crystal meth user, which spills into Thursday and Tuesday. And the next thing you know, you're picking at your face and you're having psychosis and you can't work and your friends leave you and you run out of money. And you can't stop. This is Boga. Some people die. But some people put down the pipe. And what do? They experience Tyaga, abandonment, sannyas, renunciation. So Boga takes us to sannyas. The yogi goes to the same place just through insight. They don't need to suffer 20, 30 years of debilitating alcoholism or drug addiction to get to the same place. freedom comes. Vairagya. However you get there, do it through insight. You've heard me share Swamiji's saying, go after the world, let it drop you again and again, let it kick you in the teeth. It's the only way to kill the ego. We have to viscerally see. Can you see with your viscera? No. Viscerally experience Boga before we see its limitations. And I say this so frequently. Who got upset this week?
Yes, I did.
Was it something new?
No.
You've had this feeling
Same old
before?
thing. Yeah. I go, oh, there it is again.
Isn't it boring? Aren't you tired of it?
Yeah.
No, that's not shooting heroin. I don't think you were doing that. But the dynamic is the same. We repeat the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. It's Lucy and the football. Or Charlie Brown, smack. What's the world say? This time it'll be different. It never is. So this particular questioner has done a lot of reading, I think. But let's see what Maharaj says about Boga. Going on, please.
Let's see. Oh yeah. Often the yogi wants the permanent, the bhogi is satisfied with the intermittent. Often the bhogi strives.
God, that's a lie. The bogey is never satisfied with the intermittent.
Often the bhogi strives harder than the yogi. Maharaj, what is your happiness worth when you have to strive and labor for it? True happiness is spontaneous and effortless. Questioner, all beings seek happiness. Only the means differ. Some seek it within and are therefore called yogis. Some seek it without and are condemned as bhogis. Yet they need each other. Maharaj, pleasure and pain alternate. Happiness is unshakable. What you can seek and find is not the real thing.
So he's making a distinction between the pleasure we get through the Vishaya, the objects of the senses, and the tasting of my essential nature. Now listen carefully. In the end, there's no such thing as worldly pleasure. It does not exist. Doesn't exist. I desire, mine goes out. It hurts. I get what I want, the mind momentarily ceases its vancha. It's Vikshepa Shakti. I think it's the person, place, thing, or condition, but what it really is a taste of myself. Brahmananda Rasa Swad. And the only way you come to that realization is to watch your mind. Notice what it feels like when you're wanting. Watch your mind. Notice what it feels like when you get what you want. So ice cream, music, and sex all do the same thing to my mind? Yes. But I get confused and deluded because of the diversity of sensuality. It will vary in intensity and duration when it's Vishaya Ananda, the bliss I get through the sense objects. does to my mind is always the same. Any thoughts on this? This is foundational. You can read all the texts and go see all the gurus. You can even meditate a lot. But unless we take up the practice of vairagya, we'll have no peace. You can go on a meditation retreat, get really blissed out. But if you come home and you still have attachment and aversion to relationship, to work, to your finances, all your misery comes right back. And I'm going to go live in the ashram. Okay. It'll all be blissful for 2 weeks. Then you'll start recreating all the same dynamics you had at home. Because it's not out there. All right, going on.
Happiness is unshakable. What you can seek and find is not the real thing. Find what you have never lost. Find the inalienable. End of the chapter.
Good stuff. Going on.
Chapter 26, Personality, an Obstacle. The personality is only an obstacle. Self-identification with the body may be good for an infant, but true growing up depends on getting the body out of the way. Questioner. As I see it, the world is a school of yoga, and life itself is a yoga practice. Everybody strives for perfection, and what is yoga but striving? There is nothing contemptible about the so-called common people and their common lives. They strive as hard and suffer as much as the yogi, only they're not conscious of their true purpose. Maharaj, in what way are your common people yogis? Questioner. Their ultimate goal is the same. What the yogi secures by renunciation, tyag, the common man realizes through experience, bhoga. The way of bhoga is unconscious and therefore repetitive and protracted, while the way of yoga is deliberate and intense and therefore can be more rapid. Maharaj, maybe the periods of yoga and bhog alternate. First bhogi, then yogi, then again bhogi, then again yogi. Questioner, what is the purpose?
So let's stop there. So many of us, I'm fond of the saying that St. Paul has in his letter to the Romans. I do not do that which I would do, and I do that which I hate. Therefore, it is not I that do it, but sin that is lodged in my limbs. I'm going to get up every morning and meditate. I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, and I don't do it. I'm going to eat really healthy, and I don't do it. I'm going to stop yelling at my partner, and I don't do it. I'm going to stop slacking off at work, and I don't do it. I'm going to stop being tardy for appointments, and I don't do it. Does this sound familiar? What does it? St. Paul calls it sin. We would call it vasana or sanskara. So we have the intentions of the rational mind, that part of the intellect. But that's not the totality of the picture. There are all these unconscious, emotionally driven motivations, which are what really run our lives. What do we do? Let's see if Maharaj talks about it.
Maharaj, weak desires can be removed by introspection and meditation, but strong, deep-rooted ones must be fulfilled, and their fruits, sweet or bitter, tasted. Questioner, why then should we pay tribute to yogis and speak slightingly of yogis? All are yogis in a way. Maharaj, on the human scale of values, deliberate effort is considered praiseworthy. In reality, both the yogi and yogi follow their own nature according to circumstances and opportunities.
So let me stop there again. I, in a sense, agree with the questioner, but this is a very subtle part of the teaching. And it has to do with what is the dharma of the human mind. The human mind, in fact, is a pleasure seeker, pain avoider mechanism. I compare it to phototropism in plants. You put the coleus in the window, and in a few days, all the leaves turn towards the window, towards the light. So from the moment we get up in the morning to the moment our head hits the pillow, all we're doing is seeking the good by our understanding and avoiding misery. That's what the questioner would call boga. I'm going to go to a concert. I'm going to eat chocolate. I'm going to get laid. I'm going to do things that get me the esteem and approval of the people I care about. I'm going to accomplish this particular task. Then I will feel good about me, and I will get what I want. That's the mind. So if that were the only operative, we'd just be going around in circles. Parama chakra. But the mind is always questing. Well, yeah, that was kind of good, but it wasn't enough. My house isn't big enough. My 401k isn't big enough. My husband isn't nice enough. I'm not good enough. There's always this discontent. In the end, it's a divine discontent. Because boga, after many lifetimes, eventually leads us to yoga. Now, what's the biggest distinction between boga and yoga? Boga drives the mind into experiences that are inherently disappointing. Why? Because they're unreal. It's like, I have a relationship with someone I met on Tinder. Never met them in person, but we talk a whole lot. We know we're in love. That's nonsense. You made it all up. Yoga is that. I'm in love with things that are inherently shunyata, void. They're not bad. I'm just empty. But yourself is real. I hear a lot of young people who are involved in recovery and their therapists, and they're saying, I'm learning to love myself. Oh, if only they would. If only they would. Parama prema. They mean bubble bath. get a massage. Don't sacrifice my needs for somebody else's needs. Nothing wrong with that. But that's not loving yourself. Any thoughts? Going on.
Questioner. Or no, sorry. The Maharaj. In reality, both the yogi and bhogi follow their own nature according to circumstances and opportunities. The yogi's life is governed by a single desire, to find the truth. The bhogi serves many masters. But the bhogi becomes a yogi, and the yogi may get a rounding up in a bout of bhoga. The final result is the same. Questioner. Buddha is reported to have said that it is tremendously
Who
important.
said that?
That last part was Maharaj.
But no, the something is said, is known to have said. I didn't see the first word.
Oh, questioner. Buddha.
Buddha. Okay.
Buddha is reported to have said that it is tremendously important to have heard that there is enlightenment, a complete reversal and transformation in consciousness. The good news is compared to a spark in a shipload of cotton. Slowly but relentlessly, the whole of it will turn to ashes. Similarly, the good news of enlightenment will, sooner or later, bring about a transformation.
That's beautiful.
Maharaj. Yes. First hearing, Shravana, then remembering, Smarana, pondering, Manana, and so on. We are on familiar ground. The man who heard the news becomes a yogi while the rest continue in their bhoga. Questioner. But you agree that living a life, just living the humdrum life of the world, being born to die and dying to be born, advances man by its sheer volume, just like the river finds its way to the sea by the sheer mass of the water it gathers. Maharaj. Before the world was, consciousness was. In consciousness, it comes into being. In consciousness, it lasts, and into pure consciousness, it dissolves. At the root of everything is the feeling I am. The state of mind, there is a world, is secondary. For to be, I do not need the world needs me. Questioner. The desire to live is a tremendous thing. Maharaj. Still greater is the freedom from the urge to live.
And by live here, meaning I am the body, may I always be, may I never cease to be.
Questioner. The freedom of the stone? Maharaj. Yes, the freedom of the stone, and much more besides. Freedom unlimited and conscious. Questioner. Is not personality required for gathering experience? Maharaj. As you are now, the personality is only an obstacle. Self-identification with the body may be good for an infant, but true growing up depends on getting the body out of the way. Normally, one should outgrow body-based desires early in life. Even the bhogi, who does not refuse enjoyments, need not hanker after the ones he has tasted. Habit, the desire for repetition, frustrates both the yogi and the bhogi. Questioner. Why do you continue dismissing the person, vyakti, as of no importance? Personality is the primary fact of our existence. It occupies the entire stage. Maharaj. As long as you do not see that it is mere habit, built on memory, prompted by desire, you will think yourself to be a person, living, feeling, thinking, active, passive, pleased or pained. Question yourself. Ask yourself, is it so? Who am I? What is behind and beyond all this?
So perhaps from my viewpoint, the greatest problem of identification with the personality is its inherent insubstantial nature, and therefore the compulsion in the mind to protect, defend, and secure it. What are you doing, Jim? I'm securing space. Don't bother me. How can you secure space? It needs no security. They were mean to me. How could you treat me that way? I need mine. All of that are efforts to secure the space of consciousness. Because I think there's an individual me. But if I go looking for that individual me, I can't find anything. I can find bits and pieces that act. I can find body sensations. I can find feelings. I can find thoughts. I can find memory. I can find habit. But I cannot find a thing called a person. And this is the great power of self-inquiry. Knock yourself out. Go look for the person. See if you can find it. Jim, are you happy? It's a stupid question. I'm scratching my nose. I'm thinking about lunch. You know, whenever a thought occurs, that personal sense of self, if there is one, it's always relative to the perception. Isn't that your experience? You're not thinking about happiness. Are you happy? I'm thinking about going to the bathroom. It's something there is. It's a real I. Let's see what Maharaj says.
Question yourself, ask yourself, is this so? Who am I? What is behind and beyond all this? Soon you will see your mistake, and it is in the very nature of a mistake to cease to be when seen. Questioner, the yoga of living, of life itself, we may call the natural yoga, Nisarga yoga. It reminds me of the primal yoga, Adi yoga, mentioned in the Rig Veda, which was described as the marrying of life with mind. Maharaj, a life lived thoughtfully and full awareness is by itself Nisarga yoga. Questioner, what does the marriage of life and mind mean? Maharaj, living in spontaneous awareness, consciousness of effortless living, being fully interested in one's life. All this is implied. Questioner, Sharada Devi, wife of Sri Ramakrishna Paramhans, used to scold his disciples for too much effort. She compared them to mangoes on the tree, which are being plucked before they are ripe. Why hurry, she used to ask. Wait till you're fully ripe, mellow, and sweet. Maharaj, how right she was. There are so many who take the dawn for the noon, a momentary experience for full realization, and destroy even the little they gain by excess of pride. Humility and silence are essential for a sadhak, spiritual aspirant, however advanced. Only a fully ripened jnani can allow himself complete spontaneity.
And in the end, when we see deeply the illusion of the personal sense of self, who's doing the yoga? That's why I like to compare it to puberty. Nobody chooses puberty. What are you doing? Don't bother me. I'm adolescent. I'm working hard at it. Now, as the result of puberty, we certainly make choices. But the maturity of the body into adulthood, we don't choose it. In the end, we aren't even choosing our yoga. It's part of the natural unfoldment. It's our swadharma. Take it easy, hasten slowly. But we do make choices as we enter on the path. It gets narrower and narrower. We see the karmic repercussions of our stupidity much quicker. Say an unkind thing to a person and you feel like crap. Whereas a decade ago, you would have had righteous indignation, justification. Who's had that experience? We cheat a bit here. It becomes intolerable. Whereas a decade ago, a little larceny in the soul was just, I'm a little bit of an outlaw. You know? All right, going on.
Questioner. It seems that there are schools of yoga where the student, after illumination, is obliged to keep silent for 7 or 12 or 15 or even 25 years. Even Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi imposed on himself 20 years of silence before he began to teach. Maharaj, yes, the inner fruit must ripen. Until then, the disciple, the living in awareness, must go on. Oh, the discipline, the living in awareness must go on. Gradually, the practice becomes more and more subtle until it becomes altogether formless. Questioner. Krishnamurti too speaks of living in awareness. Maharaj, he always aims directly at the ultimate. Yes, ultimately, all yogas end in your Adi Yoga, the marriage of consciousness, the bride, to life, the bridegroom. Consciousness and being, Satchit, meet in bliss, Ananda. For bliss to arise, there must be meeting, contact, the assertion of unity in duality. Questioner. Buddha too has said that for the attainment of nirvana, one must go to living beings. Consciousness needs life to grow. Maharaj, the world itself is contact, the totality of all contacts actualized in consciousness. The spirit touches matter, and consciousness results. Such consciousness, when tainted with memory and expectation, becomes bondage.
Remember again, his use of the word consciousness is Chaitanya, not Chit. We would call that mind with a capital M. Chitta. Going on.
Pure experience does not bind. Experience caught between desire and fear Experience caught between desire and fear is impure and creates karma. Questioner, can there be happiness in unity? Does not all happiness necessarily imply contact, hence duality? Maharaj, there is nothing wrong with duality as long as it does not create conflict. Multiplicity and variety without strife are joy. In pure consciousness, there is light. For warmth, contact is needed. Above the unity of being is the union of love. Love is the meaning and purpose of duality. Questioner, I am an adopted child. I do not know my own father. My mother died when I was born. My foster father, to please my foster mother, who was childless, adopted me, almost by accident. He is a simple man, a truck owner and driver. My mother keeps the house. I am 24 years old now. For the last 2.5 years, I have been traveling, restless, seeking. I want to live a good life, a holy life. What am I to do? Maharaj, go home, take charge of your father's business, and look after your parents in their old age. Marry the girl who is waiting for you. Be loyal, be simple, and be humble. Hide your virtue, live silently. The 5 senses and the 3 qualities, gunas, are your 8 steps in yoga. And I am is the great reminder, Mahamantra. You can learn from them all you need to know. Be attentive, inquire ceaselessly. That is all. Questioner, if just living one's life liberates, why are not all liberated? Maharaj, all are being liberated. It is not what you live, but how you live that matters. The idea of enlightenment is of utmost importance. Just to know that there is such a possibility changes one's entire outlook. It acts like a burning match in a heap of sawdust. All the great teachers did nothing else. A spark of truth can burn up a mountain of lies. The opposite is also true. The sun of truth remains hidden behind the cloud of self-identification with the body. Questioner, this spreading the good news of enlightenment seems very important. Maharaj, the very hearing of it is a promise of enlightenment. The very meeting with the Guru is the assurance of liberation. Perfection is life-giving and creative. Questioner, does a realized man ever think, I am realized? Is he not astonished when people make much of him? Does he not take himself to be an ordinary human being? Maharaj, neither ordinary nor extraordinary, just being aware and affectionate, intensely. He looks at himself without indulging in self-definitions and self-identifications. He does not know himself as anything apart from the world. He is the world. He is completely rid of himself, like a man who is very rich but continually gives away his riches. He is not rich, for he has nothing. He is not poor, for he gives abundantly. He is just propertyless. Similarly, the realized man is egoless. He has lost the capacity to identify himself with anything. He is without location, placeless, beyond space and time, beyond the world. He is beyond thought. He is beyond words and thoughts. Questioner, well, it is a deep mystery to me. I am a simple man. Maharaj, it is you who are deep, complex, mysterious, hard to understand. I am simplicity itself compared to you. I am what is, without any distinction whatsoever into inner and outer, mine and yours, good and bad. What the world is, I am. What I am, the world is. Questioner, how does it happen that each man creates his own world? Maharaj, when a number of people are asleep, Each dreams his own dream. It is only on awakening that the question of many different dreams arises and dissolves when they are all seen as dreams, as something imagined. Questioner. Even dreams have a foundation. Maharaj. In memory. Even then, what is remembered is but another dream. The memory of the false cannot but give rise to the false. There is nothing wrong with memory as such. What is false is its content. Remember facts, forget opinions. Questioner. What is a fact? Maharaj. What is perceived in pure awareness, unaffected by desire and fear, is fact. That's the end of the chapter.
Any thoughts? It's very rich stuff. My thought is to end a little early today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.